It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good Monday morning. We certainly hope everybody had a great weekend. Let's not mess around. It's time for your top 5 at 6. Here we go. Well, we spent a lot of time Friday talking about Iowa, and sure enough, they came in here and just pasted the Gophers.
Yeah. Made it to the game. Grandpa Gene could not use his ticket, so the Webb family invited me along. I forgot about how fun a college football game can be.
Oh, no kidding.
How absolutely stupid and full of energy young people can be. The student section, I just sat there staring at them the entire time going, God, what would it be like just to have 1 hour a week with that kind of energy again? The pageantry, the band, everything. Iowa fans are the worst.
Yep.
I mean, just trash talk. Just do it. Don't apologize for it. Don't try and sugarcoat it. Well, I mean, we don't play like that normally. But we said it on Friday. The Gophers need 2 halves of football. They came up with one good half again.
Okay.
And then just laid a big old turd right there on that beautiful field.
I did see that the running back for Iowa had 206 yards and 3 touchdowns. 206 yards in a college football game. That's a lot of running. That's not a great harbinger for the rest of the season as the Big Ten schedule gets underway.
No, and I think he got probably the lion's share of that in the second half. Just
grinding.
Yeah, went into that. The only thing is they sell beer again at Huntington Stadium. Didn't they quit selling beer for a while? Mm-hmm. I think. Because I did not know that, and I really pre-gamed the hell out of this thing, thinking I got to get my buzz in there, and it's got to last 4 quarters. And then it turns out they were selling beer.
Yeah,
might have been overserved.
I think it's awesome that you're still wearing your striped overalls. Those look awesome on you, Zep.
Here's the thing. I was a little tipsy when I got out of there, and I was ride sharing, of course. And I thought I'm going to walk out of here and get away from the traffic to get to my ride share. And I walked for about an hour, came around the corner. Huntington Bank Stadium, I had walked in a circle.
Attaboy.
I had stumbled about a mile in a complete circle.
Freshman sociology major.
But everyone was gone by then.
Hey, listen, if you're looking number 4 on your top 5 at 6, if you're looking for one of those purple apples that have taken over the internet, they have a new apple that is purple from Saskatchewan. But there's only one problem. No, they don't.
No.
It's a fake. There's a viral image of purple apples. Several images, I should say. Vibrant purple skin. They do look kind of exciting. There's a whole post that just went berserk over the weekend. No, if you see an apple and it's purple, someone used a Sharpie.
Here's Miss Saskatchewan, 1972, talking about it.
It would be so fun, but unfortunately, it is not real.
You can have purple leaves on the crab apples.
When there's an AI-generated photo that pops up online, we always get lots of inquiries.
When the Canadians are doing viral hoaxes, there's no hope for the rest of the planet. The end is nigh. Number 3 on your top 5 at 6. The Minnesota Department of Public Safety had a speed enforcement campaign over the summer, May 1st through September 2nd. You want to guess how many drivers were cited for speeding in that May, June, July, August 4-month segment? 69,723.
The hell? Well,
69,723.
Well, that ought to make the roads safer.
Wow.
That'll slow us down. The ice is coming. That'll slow us down.
It certainly will. During that 4-month campaign, the DPS said that 58 different agencies across the state had reported people driving over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Over 100.
I mean,
the LeSueur and the State Patrol Rochester District had a couple of 130s. Twin Cities West Metro got a 127er.
Yeah?
The old 127ers.
Yeah, the whole 127 club. Well, like I said, winter's coming. That'll slow folks down a bit. Just wait it out here in Minnesota. 68,000, 9,000, whatever it was.
The second half of August, the 16th of August to September 2nd alone, 1,200 people arrested for driving drunk. Come on, we got to do a lot better than that, guys.
Yeah.
You want to speed? I hear you. Don't drive drunk.
You got options out there. There's ride shares. Hell, they didn't jack the prices like we thought they were going to. Still pretty reasonable.
Number 2 on your top 5 at 6. Oh, I don't know. Maybe the Vikings are the best team in the NFL right now. 3-0 with an absolute ass kicking of the Houston Texans, a preseason darling for those in the know. But no, they rolled into U.S. Bank Stadium yesterday and got hammered. 125 decibels registered regularly while Houston was standing with the ball. C.J. Stroud, second-year quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks of the last decade to enter the league, just looked lost because, honestly, he was trying to call plays, and it was 125 decibels. I don't care what sort of headgear you're wearing. You're not going to hear a damn thing.
O'Connell and Grenard talking about that.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think we got the best fans in the National Football League, not particularly close.
Man, the fans made the environment crazy. I knew they was going to be helpful for us. And without their help, man, who knows how this game would win, but I'm glad we got a dub.
At one point in time, I think it was about 121 decibels in here, multiple pre-snap penalties by this Texans offense.
Man, they're everything. I mean, it's like playing with a 12th guy on the field. You know, they got to worry about the crowd, us, and then the scheme.
That's right.
Stroud was sacked. The Vikings had 4 sacks on C.J. Stroud. 5 career interceptions before yesterday. He had a couple yesterday.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there isn't a defensive coordinator in the league that's going to make a living going man-to-man with Justin Jefferson. Or what the hell was that, zone?
No.
Were you going zone against Justin Jefferson?
Man,
Come
special.
on, man. I know better than that.
If you find yourself on 61 just a little bit north of White Bear Lake, you will come to Hugo, Minnesota.
Hugo.
Fancy.
Hugo to Hugo, and you will have a good time. Good morning, everybody in Hugo. Just want to say, what's up? A little tip of the cap to Hugo, Minnesota.
Yeah, a lot of friends.
Today is September 23rd, and that means that Bruce Springsteen, the boss himself, is 75 years old.
Oh.
Happy birthday to the old grinder. What does he do now at 75? Well, I can tell you what he did last weekend. He played in Asbury Park, New Jersey, his hometown, the See Here Now Festival on Sunday night. Tens of thousands of people on the beach watching him. Wow. Saturday night, the night before, he popped into the Stone Pony for the midnight house band jam. My nephew, who plays in a band called Illiterate Light, was there in the dressing room. Bruce walked in. Yeah. He goes, "Hey, I saw your band. You guys kind of cool." And my nephew calls me and he goes, "Yeah, I was hanging with Springsteen last night at midnight." I'm like, "Huh?"
No kidding.
He's down there, and then he hops up on stage. Bruce hops up on stage with the house band at 1 a.m. for 4 songs because that's just what he does.
Yeah, the guy's got me by, somewhere around 20 years, not quite. And it's been a long time since anyone ever said, "Hey, I was hanging with Zepp at midnight."
Yeah, he's checking out the new bands. He's talking to everybody. He's on the scene. He pops up, does 4 songs, and then and if I know him, he rode his. He was probably there on his bike because I've seen him at the Stone Pony, and he shows up on a motorcycle and walks in like he's Bruce Springsteen or something.
Still up at 6 o'clock in the morning, out mall walking too. I love it. This guy can do it all.
He can do it all. Happy birthday, Bruce. He's on the road, starting a Canadian tour soon. Nothing changes. 3 hours minimum per night, every single night. Crazy. Happy birthday to the boss. I've got 3 words that I know are going to make everybody happy. Stolen bucket truck. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
If you're on your way to work today, I hope you have a great day. I hope that nobody comes along while you're working and decides to drive off with you. Well, that is if you're working in a bucket truck anyway. In North Carolina, a gentleman was working in a bucket truck. He was working on power lines. A recently released from jail older gentleman then walked up, hopped in his bucket truck, slammed the door, turned on the ignition, and drove away. Bucket arm fully extended. Dude way off the ground in the bucket. Yeah, here's the story. A gentleman was literally released from jail, a guy named Frank Moody, 2 hours earlier, and he's walking down the street just out of the joint and says, "Well, I think I'm going to steal a bucket truck." And that's exactly what he does with a guy fully extended up top, and he speeds off down the road.
Some locals.
I've been up 80 feet, and you're that far up in the air, just the wind can shift and make you move, rock back 2 or 3 feet. He had to be terrified.
I feel for that person's family.
You know, he was just doing what he was supposed to do.
Well, the Lord's
Wait,
work.
what?
Up in the air.
First of all, the guy he didn't die. He did free himself from the bucket as it was moving, and he fell out and he injured his leg, but he's going to be okay. It sounds like that woman's, you feel for his family. He busted up his leg. I feel for him.
Person's family. You know, he was just doing what he was supposed to do.
Man,
every day one of those bucket workers walks out of the house. The family is left there wondering if they're ever going to walk back in the door.
Is this the last time we ever say goodbye?
Was his destiny.
I mean, yeah, that's, I'll tell you, I've talked about being afraid of heights. I know I like to jump off and out of things, but that's because I'm afraid of heights. I want to get down as quickly as possible, and I have a parachute on my back, but I'm not particularly fond of heights. One of the scariest things I ever did was one of those, firefighting buckets that go 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
And climbing up that thing, and my knuckles were white and coming down. I was shaking like a leaf. So that couldn't have been cool up there. But Frank Moody, so you get out of jail. There ought to be a thing where they ask him right before they open that last door. Now, Frank, are you sure, or would you like to stay here?
Yeah.
Maybe you're maybe the life that you love is here. Because if you want to stay here, we're going to put you back in.
That should be release should be optional.
I think so. I mean,
the state thinks you're ready. We don't think that you are going to be one of them recidivists anymore. We're going to let you go. Are you okay with that? Frank. Well, I do have a notion. I might. You got any bucket trucks in the area? I mean, how much planning is involved in this?
None. I mean, you're just given to it. I guess you're born to it. Nothing but trouble since the damn day he was born.
Oh, and what a name, Frank Moody. That just sounds like a Southern criminal to me. Hey, KQ Up North with Hoffman Weber Construction is right around the corner, baby. October 3rd through the 6th at Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. Why don't you head up there with us? We're going to broadcast this very show from Cragen's. We're going to have a karaoke party, a dinner cruise, live music, and a whole lot more. Book your stay at 92kqrs.com. That's sponsored by Hoffman Weber Construction and Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. I'm looking very forward to that weekend. But then again, I also love to look back. On this day in 1908, which is a long time ago, one of the biggest early day baseball, most famous crazy mistakes on the diamond happened. It was a legendary thing for decades. People talked about the day Fred Merkle forgot to tag second base. In a game, his New York Giants playing the Chicago Cubs, he's on first. A base hit's going to score the runner from third. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. You can imagine the scene in New York. Ball is hit. The runner on third scores, and thousands of fans storm the field in celebration. Fred Merkle, standing at first base, has to go touch second base. But but because there's so many fans on the field, he just turns around and heads back to the dugout.
Sure.
The Cubs are like, hey, dude didn't tag second. So with literally 1,000 fans on the field, the Cubs go find the baseball in the outfield, run it in, tag second, ump calls him out. All right? This story is in the papers the next day. It goes nationwide. It's known for years as the greatest base running error ever, but that's not the biggest problem because Fred Merkle's mistake was known in the media as Merkle's boner. I think he would have rather played the game with a giant boner than have committed Merkle's boner himself.
You goofed, didn't you?
Yeah, big goof.
Man.
I hope the Merkle family's up listening in Prior Lake, Minnesota this morning.
Merkle's boner. It sounds like a constellation, does it? Is that the Big Dipper or is that Merkle's boner? I can't tell.
It's great tonight.
On this day in 1969, Joe Kapp throws for 7 touchdowns as the Vikings take down the Baltimore Colts in a 52-14 win. That Vikings team was strong. Joe Kapp was a baller.
Yeah. He
absolutely.
Probably got into 3 or 4 fights in that game, too.
Most likely did. And Joe Kapp had a great career, but did you know this about Joe Kapp? After he retired from football, a lot of work in Hollywood. My man had minor guest appearances on Ironside, The $6 Million Man, Adam 12, Emergency, Policewoman, and Medical Center.
I should have done more Westerns. I always thought he was very fetching in a leather vest.
Don't turn your back on his film career. The World's Greatest Athlete.
Yeah.
Disney film, John Michael Jan Michael Vincent, like a Tarzan type kid, comes over. He plays every sport. The Longest Yard, Burt Reynolds.
That's right. Of course.
Right,
Yes.
He was
a quarterback for the Cops, wasn't he?
Yeah, I believe he was.
The prison guards.
The prison guards. Semi-Tough, another great football movie.
That's right.
Had a small part in The Frisco Kid, a great Gene Wilder movie.
Really?
Also played in a movie called Offsides, Pigs versus Freaks from 1984. A police chief and his hippie son lead opposing football teams to settle their differences. Offsides, Pigs versus Freaks. Wow. Look for it.
Oscar nominated.
Gotta be. I would certainly think so. Joe Cap just lost him last year at the age of 85. What a run on the field, and then what a run in Hollywood. My God. Nice work, brother.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. You're listening to the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zep, Tony, and Ryder on 92 KQRS.
In English, as an
wow.
Part of an adverb, Shirley talks too much. As an adverb enhancing an adjective, Shirley is beautiful. As a noun, I don't give a part of a word, absolutely, or incredible. And as almost every word in a sentence, the f***ers. You must realize there aren't too many words with the versatility of as in these examples describing situations such as fraud, I got at the used car lot. Dismay, oh, it. Trouble, I guess I'm really now. Aggression, don't with me, buddy. Difficulty, I don't understand this question. Inquiry, who the was that? Incompetence, he's a off. Dismissal, why don't you go outside and play hide and go With all of these multi-purpose applications, we say it loudly and see you.
Wow. That is fantastic work right there, man.
Good stuff.
F yeah.
Yo, you know that's true. It makes me think of Maplewood. Good morning, effing Maplewood. What's going on up there?
For an effing good time. The doghouse. Always friendly to your biker parties and get-togethers. Always had a good time at the doghouse.
What would be an adjective for the doghouse? The blank doghouse. Maybe, is there an F word you could put in there?
For an effing good time.
Yeah, there you go.
Effing doghouse.
Damn, Maplewood.
House.
Maplewood, good morning. A little later in the show, we're giving away tickets to see Queensryche at the Myth in Maplewood. So, you know, Maplewood's on the mind.
I have not been to the Myth in a while, a minute or two. Man, it's been years since I've been up there. The last time, actually, I left in disgrace because the gal I was dating at the time, we got those plush suite tickets up there. And she was trying to smuggle a couple of throw pillows out of there. They were leopard print throw pillows.
Smuggle them where?
All the things you could steal from this.
Like, I mean, where was she hiding them?
She stuffed them in her. Yeah, she wasn't wearing a heck of a lot.
Say she was pregnant.
One of the things I liked about her. But no, it was something kind of like that. And he caught us like 4 steps down. He's like, where do you think you're going with those? I'm like, with those? I only have one date with, are you kidding me? I turn around and she's got... It's like, I'm sorry. I'm like,
man, I got busted at a gig for trying to take a chair out of the dressing room. We played at Duke University in 1992, Cameron Indoor Stadium, where the basketball team plays.
Yeah.
And they were the defending national champs, and this is like right during the tournament when they were about to go back to back.
Yeah.
And we play this one-off gig at this basketball gym, which in college basketball, Duke's home court, that's one of the crown jewels of college basketball.
Course.
Tiny little place. We play a gig there. I'm walking out of the locker room, and our dressing room is the team's locker room. Like Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley, that team, back-to-back titles. Yeah. And they have those folding chairs that are padded that has the big D on the back and then the Blue Devil on the seat. And I just fold one up and walk out with it. I'm like, man, I am taking this bad boy. And I step out of the venue. I'm right at the door of the tour bus, and I just hear this. Nope. And I just think I'm going to keep going. And it goes, don't you think you've taken that chair? And I turn around. There's a security guard. Guy's about 70. He goes, let's bring that chair back now. And I said, no, he said it was cool. And this is what he said. There ain't no he. And if there was, he would not have said it was cool.
That's cool what you just said.
And I looked and I went, you're right. He goes, I know. Now bring me the, and I walked back. I go, come on, you got to give me, at least, and he goes, no, put the chair away. Shut up.
All right,
he was like, this is not funny. Like, damn.
No high fives. No, that I totally respect. A couple of musty old, I'm sure, puked on pillows from the myth. Not so cool.
Probably not so cool. From the F word to, which, by the way, when everyone says you shouldn't use curse words, it makes you sound stupid. No, it doesn't. Not if you use them correctly, as my man just spent 2 minutes explaining to us. But there are words we do mispronounce. You might choose the wrong word on occasion, but mispronouncing words can really make you sound a little thin up top, you know, sometimes.
Sure.
And like I always think about, the fact that there's a lot of like food words. When I was a kid, words like fajitas, I would look at that as the first time I ever saw that word. I was like, was it fajitas? It sounds kind of almost sexual, maybe in nature. A lot of words we often mispronounce. I have noticed since getting up to Minnesota, I mispronounce words. I would have said it 2 years ago, you guys mispronounce words, but now that I'm here, I'm the one mispronouncing words.
Right, yeah.
I have problems with what I put my groceries into. It's a bag.
Yeah, no bag.
Yeah, no, but that A to me says I say bag, and I notice I'm the only person here that says it.
I noticed we add syllables in the Midwest. Bag. It's almost like
bag.
Like Noah. And that kind of stuff.
It drives me crazy when they refer to bagels.
Yeah.
No, I'm confused a lot, for sure. There's a lot of the upper Midwestern, if you want to call it that. I just call it Minnesota. A lot of words that I realize it's me. I'm the one on the outs here, and I'd be happy to hear what I'm not even thinking of. 651-989 Rock is the KQ Talking text line. There's a lot of words, but regardless of where you live, someone who says irregardless. I know that. Irregardless is not a word.
Yeah,
it's Kevin James' new Netflix, or is it Amazon Prime stand-up special? It's called Irregardless.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, I got popped for that years ago, and I didn't even realize I had let it slip in. And my wife said, babe, and this is a long time ago, that's not a word. I said, what's not a word? She goes, irregardless. I go, yes, oh, crap, you're right. And it hit me. And to this day, I will shudder at the fact that I was saying that out loud in front of strangers at times.
Yeah.
I just hate it.
Mine was in the middle of an argument with a girlfriend. We just started dating. I did the old irregardless. Never even thought about it, and she corrected me in the middle of an argument. That was fun.
I was also, I've been admonished for saying espresso instead of espresso. Again, going back a while, but and not only was I given grief for that, but there was and then I was pointed out to there was Jan Hooks was on Saturday Night Live. Remember Jan Hooks?
Yeah,
great
her.
SNL character. I believe she had her own special once, and Phil Hartman appeared on it. And there was a skit, like a black and white skit, where she says, I'd like to get another espresso. And then the Phil Hartman character goes, you mean like the Crosstown Express? It's espresso. And he yells at her for mispronouncing espresso. And I was so shamed. I was like, that was me. I said espresso. I'm an idiot. I'm like the person Phil Hartman hates. It was just making me nuts.
I can't stand when people say et cetera.
Et cetera. Sure.
Et cetera.
Yeah. Thank you, Tony. If you there's a brief, you can just put etc. It's so right. It's so right. Where's the X? There's not one, etc. I had a friend for years. He couldn't say breakfast. He would say breakfast. He literally would he'd go breakfast and then go, hey man, what do you have for breakfast? breakfast. It was a lifelong thing. Last I heard, he still couldn't really say it without thinking about it.
I hung on to biscotti for far too long.
Biscotti.
Or
great.
my favorite, supposedly.
Supposedly.
Oh,
Now, I got into a
that's a
thing
good one.
when Taylor was like 7. I'm like, it's supposedly. Supposedly. And I kid you not, I then go in for conferences, and the teacher says, well, supposedly. And I'm like, I didn't say anything to her, but I'm like, no wonder I can't get my kid to get it freaking right. Supposedly in Minnesota. I hear that a lot.
Here's a text on the line. Unthaw is not thawing. Unthaw is not thawing.
Isn't it? I mean, follow the logic.
You're not going to unthaw something. You're going to thaw it.
I'm going to unthaw that sucker.
Yeah, that means you're going to throw it in the freezer.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If next time I'm putting stuff in the freezer, I will say, "Oh, can't wait to unthaw this."
Yeah, and then
there's all sorts of things we learn, we live and learn with. How about this? Do you know your left from your right? Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good Monday, September 23rd. Ever get confused about left and right? You know where your left is, you know where your right is. I've never had that problem, but you know what? I watch my wife on occasion. I'll say it's on your left, and she'll stop, take a brief moment, like a split second, and look down and just make, the left. And, it's that thing where I go, no, your other left, because she'll turn right.
Right.
And when we first met and I saw her do that, my first thought was, man, she's dumb. And then, because I'm an asshole. And then I realized, and I've since been informed by many, many people, that's a pretty common thing. There are a lot of people that have to take a moment, and she's hardly the only person I know that has to do that. You go, wait, look. It's just a thing. I one of the guys in my band was always like, you'd say it's on your right, and then you just have to point, because it literally, everybody's brain works differently.
Yeah.
Everybody's got things that are perfectly developed and things that are completely foggy, myself included. Left and right's never been a problem for me, but for a lot of people, that is a thing. Do you know anyone like that? Can you think of anybody offhand? Like, you're like, yeah, it's on your left, and then they just go, huh.
Well, my buddy Steve's wife, she's kind of like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. That makes sense, yeah. But again, it's one of those things that it's like we were talking earlier, words you mispronounce, whatever. Everybody's got their little, stumbling blocks here and there. But there's this trick, and I remember being told this too when I was a little kid. You put your thumbs and your pointer fingers out, and the one that looks like the letter L, that's your left. So you always know. You just put them out there, and then of course, the joke is, of course, you need to look at that because you're a loser. But but it's just one of those. It's one of those odd little quirks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you really want to piss Rosemary off. Bring that one up next time. Honey, just hold your hands up like this.
Bang. I do it. I did it the other day on the show. I say the word window instead of mirror all the time. Window and mirror. I know very clearly what the difference is.
Okay.
I will say I'm looking at my rearview mirror. I always do that. I'm regularly in life. I want to say mirror and I say window.
I'll still count on my fingers sometimes. Does that count? I was in the drive-thru at a bank, and I was doing that, and the teller actually went on, we saw you doing that.
No way.
Tony, we saw you counting on your fingers.
That's great.
Yeah.
Doing some big banking, were you?
Apparently not.
Oh, that's awesome.
They have this many.
Well, it's only a problem if you still get the answer wrong.
Right.
Anybody say the alphabet in their head or kind of mumble it to themselves when they're trying to figure out that?
Yeah.
Or when you're trying to figure out something that's alphabetized, you're like,
yes.
M-N-O-P. Okay, got it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if I'm filing, I'll do that.
Yeah.
No, I 100%. I have to, you just log in somewhere in the middle and then have to go down the list to get there. Absolutely.
When I had to temporarily work at the record store during the pandemic and file right, it was like I'd spend about 6 hours a day just saying the alphabet.
I mean, there's like more than 20 of them. There's so many damn letters. I'm going to memorize the whole thing. And now they changed the song on us, we found.
Yeah, bummer.
I had a hat some years ago. It was a Lacoste, the alligator logo brand, but it was just a big L on my hat. And my kids actually went, Dad, you shouldn't wear that anymore. What do you mean?
Oh, man, that's not cool. Come on. I just can't. I love that they busted you at the bank for counting on your fingers.
Yeah, they did. They saw me.
I used to have, I had a lot of OCD stuff till I was in my early 30s, where I would, but touching, I didn't have it so bad like Chris Jackson, the old basketball player, used to have to, he would have to hit 15 straight free throws before he could leave a practice, and he'd wait around for hours because he would touch his feet in a certain way on the line. He couldn't touch the line. Yeah. There were all these different things. I used to have a few. If I spun around, and when I was a kid, if I was playing basketball or soccer, if I while on the field or on the court, if I spun around one full rotation, you're guarding a guy, he goes to my right, and then that guy goes to his right, and then suddenly I've done a loop. I've spun around once. I would know that. And I would have to spin back the other direction to get back in balance. I was aware of it in the middle of play. I would know I got to spin to my left twice before this game ends. And and there'd be a timeout, and I would just do it. I'd kind of turn like I'm looking over to the bench, and then I would look, and I would just get myself all the way back around to get myself straight. Had a lot of problems. Yeah, a lot of issues.
I only notice it during playoff baseball, Major League Baseball. Probably won't have to worry about that this year. But it's, getting ready to enter the batter's box with the gloves. Chuck
sure,
Knobloch,
all that stuff.
Our second baseman during the World Championship years used to have I thought it was 25 minutes.
Yeah,
every
forever.
time they would have to give him the old, all right, get in the box with the undoing the glove, redoing the glove four times.
He got
four
the
times
yips
on
too,
the left.
Did he not? As an infielder, didn't he have a thing where he was having a hard time throwing to first
the ball
base
to
for
second
a while?
After he got his 2 World Series rings. Or no, he wasn't around for 87.
91.
He was here for 91.
Yep.
Was a Gold Glover, I believe. Just a hell of a ball player for us, and then got the yips or whatever they call it there, and could not get the ball to second plate.
Chuck Knobloch, known in the Gorman house as Cider Knobloch, because watching the 91 World Series, Rosemary walked in not wearing her glasses, and his name was on the screen, and she went, "That guy's name is Cider?" And I'm like, "Cider?" I said, "What are you, blind?" "No, Chuck." But it was just stuck. So anyway, he was always Cider to me.
Yeah.
Cider Knobloch.
Do not send her to the grocery store for some cider. She's going to come home with some ground chuck.
Yeah,
or maybe you do. I don't know.
Or to get medicine.
Yeah.
What do we got here? A laxative? No, I have a headache. I don't even know where that's headed.
I was just thinking about the fact that I every now and again I'll see somebody who says, "No, if you got puffy face, put Preparation H on your cheeks or whatever." It's like as a puffy eyes or something. I'm always like, "No, I'd rather be puffy." That's just me. I'm just going to go back and be puffy. Sorry about that. The most Googled text abbreviations. I have my kids, I'm thinking about the hat. You said you have the L, and your kid's like, "Dad, you can't wear that." I have had to ask all of these before. I mean, I'm the first guy to say it. SMH, which of course is short for shaking my head. I had 30 text messages I had received with that years ago before I finally said, "What the hell is SMH?" I thought the first few were someone just didn't know they added letters to their. They just, you look down sometimes and there's just a random N on a text. You're like, what's that? I thought that's what that was. I had no idea. I've had to ask. I never figured any of these out. LMAO.
Yeah.
Laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
I was I would look at Rosemary and go, what is this? And she's like, "It's laugh my ass off. It's just like LOL." And I'm like, "And what is that one again?" I am really acronym stupid. I mean, and when they're told to me, they don't stick. I have to repeat it. I kind of now, I feel like most of the common ones, OFC, which is OFC, of course. I'm like, of course, no, that shouldn't be that.
Yeah, just don't even send me anything. I got hung up on a hack for a while from my kid. I'm like, what? Finally, I had to text because apparently I forgot that I have Google on my phone. They could have quickly saved me the embarrassment, but hugs and kisses. Yeah, I was like, well, that's sweet, but now I'm pissed off.
I worked with a woman who would always go TGIF Friday.
No.
It's like, it's an extra step there.
Well, no, it's thank God it's effing Friday.
Yeah.
We heard all about the F word earlier in the show.
Yeah.
The NGL, not gonna lie. What? Really? Seriously?
We're trying too hard.
We are trying way too hard.
What text possibly needs that? Not going to lie. Just say the freaking text.
No, it takes 2 seconds to type it.
But it kind of like sets the mood for like how you're expressing yourself because it's hard in text.
No, you know what sets the mood? GNOC, get naked on cam. That one sets the mood. All right?
Wow.
I said that bad boy. You got my attention.
Used a lot.
No, I don't know.
Fair enough. That's a new one on me. The last time I literally was just mad about one, and then the reaction I got from my kids because it was just I said, "What is TLDR?" And they both were like, "God, too long, didn't read." Someone sends you something and you don't want to read it. You'll just write back TLDR. Like,
they sent you a TLDR?
No, I got one from someone else, and I'm like, what the hell? What is tilder? Or, telder? What the? And they're both looking at me like, you are just pathetic.
That's like something a dude texts when he wants to escalate the argument. You get the long argument text. There's never a good text from your significant other that's this long. Everyone knows how far away I'm holding my hands right now. And to fire that back, you just get comfy in the doghouse.
Yeah, that's sort of what I don't even remember the context because I then turned my annoyance to my kids who were laughing at me. But I was like, but it's like, wait a minute, I took the time to write you this, and you don't have time to read a text message from me, so you're just going to hit me back with that? Hell's wrong with you, man? It's ridiculous. But I just had a thought, and there it went. Because sometimes that'll happen.
It went right out the mirror.
Went right out the mirror. That's exactly. That's exactly right. I had a. That's what it was. I was thinking about some of my OCD stuff, and I'm not making that up. It really was an obsessive compulsive thing. Like I would count the number of stairs. I would always make sure the top step I hit on the left foot, never the right. I added syllables to sentences to make sure that any sentence I said was divisible by 4. And I would keep track in my head. No,
I was
manic. It was crazy stuff.
What's the pill they're giving you?
What happened was I kind of had a full-on emotional breakdown at 33 years old, and it all went away. I just had a lot of stuff cooked up. I had a lot of stuff that I was just not coming clean with. Just a lot of stuff in my head.
33 sounds about right to reconcile that crap.
Just suddenly going like, hey, wait a minute. I've never said anything I've actually thought or felt in my life. Just exploded for days and days and days. And then at the end of it, I was like, I need the longest nap of my life. And all of my weird OCD stuff was gone. Stuff was gone.
A long nap?
I used to count days. I believe what they would call it is a nervous breakdown. And when I came out of it, it was I no longer needed to do all of these things that I'd been doing since around 9 or 10 it started. I just started having all these little counting things.
Yeah.
Like when I learned how to type in high school, I was a really fast typist. I won my award, the fastest typist in school,
Yeah.
But I typed every word I said for years in my head. As I would be talking to you right now, in my head, I'm seeing it on the typewriter.
Yeah.
I just had all these weird things like that. I often think that's why I'm a good drummer, because I was just so obsessed with time and rhythm and making sure things fit. And actually, when I had this whole big meltdown and all of those other things went away, I was thinking, like, what if I suck at drums now? Because I'm finally on my way to some mental health to get rid of all this OCD, anxiety, management skills I taught myself. But it all worked out okay.
Have been a fine accountant.
I might very well have been. But I was very good at, cleaning. Like, when I was a kid, we all had chores, and my mom would say, okay, Steven, it's your time for the dishes. I was like, man, those countertops were clean. Wow.
I mean, I didn't keep your mind busy.
I didn't miss a square inch, man. Yeah. Really, really, really kind of crazy.
Well, it's nice. Some people spend, a lifetime on the couch and thousands, if not more than that, on therapists to get through that. You just had one big blowout, man.
I had one big blowout, and my God, poor Rosemary, who had to sit there and listen to it for days on end.
Yeah. At least you never threw any keys out the car window.
That's her. That's on her. She'll appreciate you remembering that. I promise.
Come on, Rosemary. I kid because I love.
651-989-ROCK. Now that we're here, man, I love hearing about crazy OCD stuff. I really do.
It's fun.
Happy to get in that with anybody. The band Queensryche is coming to town. Queensryche. Seattle band, not part of the grunge world. They always had their own lane in the Pacific Northwest rock scene, but they will be at the Myth in Maplewood soon. And if that show is of any interest to you, I'd recommend you stay with us. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zepp, Tony, and Ryder on Minnesota's classic rock. 92 KQRS.
The Vikings are 3-0, and I'm feeling pretty good myself. In fact, I'm feeling so good that it might be time to give away a little something special. How about a couple tickets to see Queensryche playing at the Myth October the 25th? Queensryche from Seattle, Washington.
Jet City woman, yeah.
Jet City, what? So we need 2 callers. 651-989-ROCK, the KQ Talk and Text line. We'll take callers 9 and 2 to play for tickets to see Queensryche. First big European tour I was ever on, Monsters of Rock 91. The bill was the Black Crowes, we opened, and then Queensryche, and then Motley Crue, and then Metallica, and then AC/DC.
You guys didn't play Minnesota? Did you? Were you here from Minneapolis? For the Monsters of Rock.
This was just a European version of Monsters of Rock.
I was going to say, I saw that first 91. Monsters of Rock here, but I don't remember the Crowes being on.
No. This was over there, baby.
Yeah.
And Queensryche would go out, and I was unfamiliar with them up until that tour. And very nice guys. The singer would hit notes that just made my nuts hurt.
He had that Sebastian Bach range, Silent Lucidity. Remember that one?
Yeah, oh yeah. That was the one. That was 91. That was what they were on, that record, or whatever that was called.
Yeah.
He would do a vocal warm-up backstage. He would sing the Rolling Stones' Start Me Up, but in his range. And it was like, Start Me Up! It was so high. And it was like watching someone juggle like 6 balls. You'd be like, what? How are you doing that? And he'd just be walking around like, oh, by the way, I can hit notes that only dogs can hear. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, they're at the Myth, and we're going to give away tickets because, that's how we like to roll. I do want to say good morning to everybody down in Shakopee listening to the show. Shakopee, the original, Ace Frehley wrote the song Shakopee up in Minnesota, and then the guys, Gene and Paul, said maybe Shock Me would be more catchy. But it should have been Shakopee the whole time. That's all I'm saying.
My first paying gig here in Minnesota came to Brown Institute, and on the board, they had all these jobs. You work at a liquor store, of course. There was everyone was a server or a bartender. Not really my gig. And there was one at the top, $10 an hour, which was several dollars an hour.
That's good money.
That was good money back in the 1980s, late 80s. And it was calling bingo in Shakopee at Little Six Casino, whatever the heck that was.
Wow.
It's Mystic now. But yeah, so off I went to, I'm like, how hard can that be?
Oh.
Turns out they take their bingo very seriously.
You know where they don't take bingo seriously? Nowhere.
Right. I learned. They're like, you screw this up, it's your ass, boy.
Imelda Gorman, my sainted mother, 8 virgin births, is incredible. She ran a bingo parlor in our hometown in Kentucky. It was a fundraiser for the school. She was put in as the, quote, director of development, which just meant we're broke. Can you find a way to make money? And being the good Catholic school, she goes, let's open a bingo parlor. And it was called Blazer Bingo. It still exists. And she ran it started when I was a senior. So but through the 80s and 90s, she's at a bingo parlor 3-4 nights a week. And just printing money because people love their bingo. And I, as a college student, would come home for the weekend, and I would get up and call bingo sometimes because she'd pay me a couple extra bucks, and I like to do that. And that's when I realized just how sincerely and passionately and crazy bingo people are.
Oh, yeah.
And I got in real trouble first time I ever called bingo because I would just goof around and say things like this. This next game, in addition to a $50 jackpot, you have a chance to win the keys to a brand new Cadillac. Because it's a little small town funny side bingo parlor, and most of the people in there would laugh. I said those very words, and the guy that won the bingo spoke very limited English, and he had tears in his eyes when he called bingo because he literally thought he had just won a car. And I had to explain to his wife, who then explained to him that I was just joking around. And my mom wanted to kill me. She's like, you cannot. I'm like, it's bingo. Who cares? Well, everybody cared. It was almost got my ass kicked.
The same sweet old lady that tipped me $20 the weekend before, the following weekend said this to me. You screw up like that again, you're going to end up with a dauber where the sun don't shine. Quote, unquote.
Wow.
I was like, Ethel, it's you and me. The $20 last week. Remember that?
Ethel, don't mess around.
I don't remember if it was Ethel or not, but she looked like an Ethel.
I guarantee you, death by dauber has happened at bingo parlors, left and right and center.
I was at a promotion with them at a sporting goods store, and I was goofing around on the mic, of course, and I said, come upstairs to see the baby snow leopards. And some angry moms with kids did not think that was funny at all.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And a great way to meet angry moms.
Yeah. They're hiding. We can't find them. Kids, the first kid to find a baby snow leopard gets to hug it. Kids are silently searching for hours. They wouldn't make a peep. I gotta sneak up on the snow leopard. It's like actually a perfect thing to do with a store full of kids. All right, we got a couple people ready to rock. They want to win Queensryche tickets, and we want to have fun at their expense. And since it's Monday, Tony, lay it on us.
That's right. Yep, it's time to toast it up. It's time for Beat the Toaster. Here's what we do. There's a toaster. It's right here in the studio. We like that. And we're going to pop a slice of bread in there, and then we give you a category that requires some thought, and you list and name spontaneously whatever pops into your head, as many as possible, but you only have 15 seconds to do so before the toast pops.
Bang! Let's do it. Tony, who is contestant number one?
First up is the lovely Cherie from New Brighton.
Cherie, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you a fan of toast?
I am.
Oh, good. Glad to hear it. Who's your favorite band?
Led Zeppelin.
Excellent answer, Cherie. Who's your favorite team? Any sport?
Minnesota Vikings.
3-0.
You see how the tone changed? Just even last week, it was still Vikings, I guess. Now now we're Minnesota Vikings on an up there.
We are
some pride there.
No, that's fantastic. We're the ski guy. We're about to go down the slope with the thrill of victory still in our clutches, and let's see what happens. Hopefully, we endure throughout the season. We're excited about those Vikings. Cherie, we're excited to have you on the show. Are you ready to beat the toaster?
I'm ready.
Let's do it, Tony.
All right, Cherie, there's 2 rounds. Your first one, here's the deal. It's blissfully random, but name some words that rhyme with Jeep. Go ahead.
Heap. Leap. Keep. Please. Leave.
I'm often called a creep.
How'd I do?
How'd we do there?
I think I got 3.
I got
How about
3.
y'all? There was a couple other ones in there, but they didn't.
Yeah,
cheap.
We got heaps.
We got 3 because he doesn't rhyme with Jeep. But I appreciate the passion, Cherie. All right, listen. Round 1 is usually a little bit of a tough start, but you're doing just fine. Trust me. 3 is going to do you well. We're going to put you on hold for a sec, Cherie. It's time to go to contestant number 2. Who we got?
Hello, Matt from St. Bonifacius.
Matt, good morning, sir.
Morning.
Matt, give me your favorite band.
My favorite band is the Rural Alberta Advantage.
Oh, whose isn't?
Okay, the Rural Alberta Advantage.
All right.
Ask for them by name. All right, and Matt, give me your favorite team, any sport.
It would be Minnesota Wild.
I was really hoping you were going to say also the Rural Alberta Advantage. They're both. All right, the Wild and the RA, whatever that acronym would be. Matt, we're playing Beat the Toaster. If you are ready, we're gonna see what you got.
Okay.
All right, Matthew, name some things that break easily. Go.
Glass, bottles, lamps, cars.
Cars.
Wait. Toasters.
Oh, wow.
Toasters.
All right.
So
Yes.
was cars one of those?
That was horrible.
Then he said, think. Does that count for his brain? That was, that's
funny.
Yeah. Well, I've had some cars that broke very easily.
That's true. I
Could
think
be
that,
Hot Wheels, I guess.
That sounds like a $5 to me.
That was a $5.
All right, Matt. Good job, brother. 5 is nothing to sneeze at. We're going to put you on hold for a minute. Let's go back to Cherie for round 2 of Beat the Toaster. Cherie, you still with us?
I'm with you.
All right, let's go. Round 2. Let's step it up, sister.
Okay.
All right, Cherie Amour. Little Brucey Springsteen's birthday. That's today. He, of course, is affectionately known as the Boss. So I want you to think TV shows and name some TV bosses. Boss characters on TV shows. Go to it.
Ooh, Matlock. Gibbs. TV.
Sharon, did you watch the new Matlock last night?
I did.
Was that the premiere with Kathy Bates?
Kathy Bates. That's why.
I did. You gotta love Kathy Bates.
You gotta love Kathy Bates, but I chuckled when you said Matlock. I went, I bet you're not 85 years old. I bet, in fact, you watched Matlock. I just happened to notice it was on after one of the football games. I'm like, Matlock?
Well, hang on, Cherie. How was it? How's the new Matlock? Okay.
You know, you have to wait until October 17th to see the real premiere.
Okay.
And it was a little slow for me.
Okay. All right.
That's fair.
Who was Gibbs?
NCIS.
Okay.
All right. NCIS.
Gibbs.
I was going with Coach Gibbs. Well,
My first thought was Mr. Grant.
Yes, Lou Grant.
Lou Grant.
Mr. Spacely.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yes.
Spacely. Wow. All right. So,
I did horrible. That was horrible. Let's get past it.
No. Cherie, you got 2 there. You have a grand total of 5. You are tied right now with Matt. So we don't lose hope. Stranger things have happened. We're going to put you on hold and go back to Matt for his second round of Beat the Toaster. Matt, you ready to roll?
Yeah, I'm ready.
There's a lot of pressure because you only need one, dude. I mean, if you don't get this.
Oh, boy.
No pressure.
Turning up the heat.
All right, Maddie. Sam Darnold is becoming a new Minnesota hero, and his name sounds like, well, it sounds like a replacement cursing phrase. You hit your thumb with a hammer. Sam Darnold. Well, it does to me. So what are some other words or phrases used in place of actual swearing or cursing? Go to it.
Sneezies.
Right.
What?
Keep going.
Crap.
Wait. What was that first one? Sneezy?
Geez. Like,
all right.
Darn. Like,
actually, there's 2.
Golly, I meant.
There's 3. You actually just said, oh, geez, oh, darn. Those are both awesome answers. Yeah.
Cheese and rice.
Cripes is one, yeah.
Yeah, cheese and
shut the front door.
Like darn it.
But did we get one in under
the
wire?
We got 2.
We got 2 in. All right. Yeah. Cherie, I'm sorry to say you came up a little short today, but it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for playing.
Hey, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it.
Yeah, great job. That's fun.
The one I remember hearing, the in place of a curse word. Always liked, and it was my brother Doug. The first time I ever heard someone say this, he hit his thumb or did something.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh God bless America!" And I'd never heard anyone do that before, and I was like, "That's really smart, man. That's a good one." Because he just about came out with a little GD in the school, and that would have been bad.
Oh yeah.
We talked earlier also about F word and the idea that if you have to use a curse word, you're just not creative, and people say things like that. To which I've always said, yeah, please. I got busted by the PE teacher in school once because I was with friends walking through the gym, cutting in between 2 classes, and she heard me throw out an MFer here or there in the middle of a good story, and everyone's laughing. And I was probably in 7th grade, and her name was Miss Christian. That wasn't a nickname. Her last name was actually Christian. But she just looked at me. She goes, Mr. Gorman. And I spun around. I was, you're shocked when you get caught cussing and there's a teacher you didn't know was there. And I looked at her and I said, yes. She goes, I am not impressed. And I went, sorry? She goes, I'm not impressed with that language. And I was not trying to be a smartass. I said, I wasn't trying to impress you. I was like, what? You thought I was trying to impress you with that? No, I do push-ups or something. And she just jumps. And she
I do my homework.
I mean, this is like such a disconnect. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a million ways I would try to impress you. I was just trying to be funny with my friends. And I might as well have told her, like, putting on a little weight there. She was so mad. She was like, into the office now. And I was like, what is happening? I was so confused.
Yeah, no, they don't like that smart aleck stuff.
I was just being very legit. I was just I couldn't figure out for the life of me why she thought that would be me. I mean, I get her point now, of course, but at the time, just really confused. Really, really confused.
Troublemaker.
So occasionally, discoveries are made that just sets the whole world on its axis. Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Stop the presses. If you're a fan of music, especially classical music, this might be one of those days. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Night Moves, Bob Seger. No new music coming out of Bob Seger. He's pretty much pulled the plug. He's no longer touring. He says his recording days are behind him. He's done. He's tapped out. He gave us plenty.
Yeah.
One day, somebody might say, hey, man, I found an old Seger demo laying around. He never got back around to it. Or, hey, I found this song Seger was working on. And I'd be like, I'd take a listen to that. I'd like to hear what Bob left behind. How about this? Some people in Germany just found some music left behind from Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
That punk.
Yeah, a previously unknown piece of music from Mozart.
Wow.
As in the Mozart dude. That guy, Mozart.
Yeah.
Probably written as an early teenager. Has been discovered at a library in Germany. The piece dates mid to late 1760s. It consists of 7 miniature movements for string trio lasting about 12 minutes. Nice. So Mozart, of course, for those of us who just basically saw the movie Amadeus in the 80s, and that's all we know about him.
Pretty much it for me.
Child prodigy, to say the very least. A true genius. Was composing at the age of 5 or 6, composing whole pieces. Pretty much still in his own lane in terms of the actual child prodigy thing goes. This newly discovered manuscript was not written by Mozart himself, but they believe it was a copy later. It is music he wrote, but the one they found was not handwritten by the man himself. A string trio performed it for the first time in Salzburg, Austria on Thursday. Mm-hmm. It will be performed in Germany later this week. It's a weird thing for people who are in that realm. Whatever you're obsessed with, whatever your favorite thing in the world is, this is like a This is like a holy grail type of vibe, It's like, wait a minute. There's more music by this guy that's like one of the greatest of all time. I'm sure there are people in Austria and in Germany and all around the world who have spent way too much time by themselves playing an instrument who are going, oh my God, I got to hear this piece of music. Speaking of German music, tomorrow at this very time on this very show, Klaus Meine and Matthias Jabs of the Scorpions will be joining us.
I'm excited. I mean, Scorpions. I mean, that's one of my very first albums. Granted, I just bought the album, much like I did the Quiet Riot's new album. I guess I was looking for anything mental. There wasn't a cry for help, I'm sure, for anything. But remember they had The Patient with the forks in the eyes?
Yeah.
That was my first, one of my first albums.
Mental Health.
Mental Health. And then Quiet Riot had the guy in the straight jacket with the iron mask on. I was really, I guess, into that at one point.
Not one, but 2 members of the Scorpions calling the KQ Morning Show tomorrow at this time, about 8:25 tomorrow morning.
Cool.
That band formed in 1965. They will be celebrating 60 years next year, Scorpions. I don't know if that's Der Scorpions or Das Scorpions or The Scorpions. It's just Scorpions, but whatever. That's going to be, I'm very excited to speak with those 2 gentlemen. If you do find yourself holding a previously heretofore uncovered piece of music written by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. You might want to get that someplace. You could probably turn a pretty penny for that, I'm saying. Yeah. Whoever discovered this, should they have taken possession, could probably turn around and make a tidy profit. And if you find yourself having made a tiny profit from anywhere, any realm, let's say you have $1 million in cash.
Okay.
Let's just say you've got $1 million in cash. I'm going to suggest one thing you don't do is leave it in your car in a cardboard box.
Oh, my God.
This is a true story. In California, on Friday the 13th, 10 days ago, a car was broken into in California. They were parked outside of a school. They'd walked into the gym with their child, a parent at the school. He comes back to his car. The back passenger window is shattered. And when he called the police to say, hey, someone broke the back window on my car and something's missing, and the police said, that's terrible, what's missing? He said, honest to God, a cardboard box with $1 million cash.
The hell you say? Come on.
$1 million cash.
This is all right. This is an episode I'm going to finish watching. If that's the opening scene, I'm like, all right, I'm going to sit around because this is too fantastic. First of all, somebody, I mean, that's a little hubris. You're breaking into a car that's parked out there in front of the school. Okay. And you just take there's a cardboard box in that car. I'm going to smash the back window and take that cardboard box out that just happens to have $1 million.
I do have a little more information.
Oh.
The police did show up on the scene. They took the guy at his word. Okay, well, he seems to really want us to believe he had $1 million in a box. They discovered a GPS device had been attached to the car somewhere, like in the undercarriage. The driver said, I have no idea what that is. And they said, well, someone's tracking your location with this GPS device. So maybe someone did have $1 million in a cardboard box, and maybe someone else knew that guy had $1 million in a cardboard box and wanted to know where he was going to be at all times, so he tracked his car, knowing he's the kind of guy who's going to leave that in his back seat. And when he does, and he leaves his car, I'll break in and grab it.
I would. If I knew some guy had $1 million in a cardboard box, I'd absolutely rip that guy off.
I would too, to teach him a lesson. That's why I would teach him. I don't need the money. I'm not going to do anything with it except keep it. But I have taught you a lesson now.
Yes.
That's my helping you as a fellow citizen.
Would you put $1 million in a freaking cardboard box and run your kid into school?
I would not do that.
That cardboard box would be under my arm. It wouldn't be in a cardboard box. I'm just saying, yeah.
Hey, man, I've taken this thought all the way down to the point where I think, okay, one of these days I am going to wake up. I'm going to be sitting here, and one of you guys is going to go, hey, did you hear the Powerball hit here in Minneapolis over at the so-and-so? And I'll go, I bought a ticket there this week. And then I'll go and I will check my ticket and I'm going to win. I'm going to win all this money. And I've thought about what would I honestly do. And the first thing I think is I'd take that ticket and I'd put it in like a Ziploc bag.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Just something like that where I couldn't tear it accidentally, where I couldn't drop it and fall into a fireplace, or I would. But then I think to myself, would I leave? I would just sit at home and stare at it because I'd be afraid to go anywhere. This is the day I'm going to get rear-ended or T-boned, or if I'm, this is the day that some horrible thing is going to befall me, and no one will ever know, and I won't have cashed it in. It's got to be really stressful to be sitting on that winning ticket.
Yeah.
Or in this guy's case, $1 million in cash in a cardboard box. He clearly wasn't sweating it. I'd be sweating it.
Yeah, you'd have to tape it to your body.
Yeah. Or you know what? Get one of those cigar things. You know, those aluminum little cigar they pull the fancy cigars out.
No.
You roll it up, you put it in there, and you stick it in the keister. That's the only place it's going to
That's a safe deposit box.
From $1 million in a box to a lottery ticket up your six in 3 minutes right here.
I mean, there's only one way to be sure.
All roads, you know what they say, all roads lead to your six.
Yeah.
I would love to hear more about this story when it plays out. Why'd the guy have $1 million in a cardboard box in the back of your car? And why was someone tracking you? How did someone know you have it? This is going to fascinating episode.
But you said it right. This is the perfect opening scene to a show.
Yeah, I want to see. I want to hear what happens.
I do think, but I still go back to my lottery ticket when I win it. I'm got to make sure I have a Ziploc bag at the house at all times. I just, for some reason, I feel like that's the secret. Stick it in that and then put it somewhere. You know, I mean, imagine what if all the ways that you could be like, what if you found out, what if you're going through TSA and like you're going to the airport and you realize you got a winning lottery ticket? Do you take the flight? Do you this will be the one that goes down, or the TSA agent, he'll go in my bag, he'll take my ticket.
Yeah.
I think about all these things when I buy a lottery ticket.
So far you've just gotten as far as the Ziploc bag.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I got. I want you to know I have won a lot. I did win the lottery once, $4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I matched a number and got the double, and so it was $4.
Attaboy.
All those years.
Buy a couple more lottery tickets?
As far as I know, I'm $4 up.
You can't even buy a box of Ziplocs for $4. And I'm just guessing.
That's right.
I'm guessing.
That's right. And then, but friendly reminder that, listen, life of crime, it's not worth it. But unless you're Pablo Escobar back in Colombia back in the day, because oh my God, he had $1 billion in cash. The Ziploc bags cost a lot of money. Pablo Escobar, I read, they spent $10,000 a month on rubber bands to wrap all the money. They had so many wads of cash that they were rolling up and putting in rubber bands. They were spending $10,000 a month on rubber bands. Wow. That's how much cash they had. Wow. So that's there you have it. So now if you tell me Pablo Escobar had $1 million in a box in his back seat, I'd say, yeah, that checks out.
No wonder cocaine's so expensive. I mean, if they could cut the cost a little bit. Reuse the rubber bands. Come on, guys.
Escobar on the run from the authorities with his family in a house that had no electricity. He burned in the fireplace $2 million just to have a fire to keep him warm. One night. Yeah.
Pablo.
Yes, living life large. I mean, if you can believe the Netflix show, which this guy with $1 million in cash, that's got to be a Netflix show. Come on.
Something's going on there.
The box of cash.
Well, he told the cops about it, so it couldn't be all malfeasance. I mean, he didn't... you can't call the cops if it's stolen, right?
Did he tell the cops about it to get it in the report so when he files the insurance claim, the $1 million is there? Like, is that I think that's the take on that.
Would you go ahead
and $1 million?
Maybe.
Would you go ahead and point me toward that insurance company that's going to take his word on the $1 million in the box? Because I also have a box.
Yeah.
And there's $1 billion in that box that Steve just stole from me.
Yeah, it's called Mike's Insurance. You know Mike, that he got a ball peen hammer fell on his head once. Been writing some bizarre policies lately.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that one's gonna check out too well. Scorpions tomorrow on this show at this time. Moments from now, your top 5 at 9. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. You're listening to the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zep, Tony, and Ryder on 92 KQRS.
Remember that one? Springsteen caught for a DUI. Bruce, how could you? The kids, think about it. Busted him at .02. It wasn't actually a DUI. He was consuming alcohol in a closed area. He was driving his bike around by himself, as he does, the boss, out on a tool by himself, and comes up some campers. They're like, Springsteen, do some tequila, man. He's like, well, I mean, while I'm in the neighborhood, did a couple of shots of tequila, and they get him on the way out of the park for drinking in a closed area, which is a law in Jersey or wherever he was busted. And .02, and I'm like, you should be ashamed of yourself, .02.
There's another law in New Jersey. You can't pump your own gas. Did you know that?
I've heard about that.
That's true.
You really
cannot
can't
pump your own gas. If you go to any gas station in the state of New Jersey, even on like the turnpike, the roadside little oasis you pull into, there's a dude there who pumps your gas.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's just, but they're not kidding around. Trust me. You jump out and you go grab it like, hey, no. Someone comes over and does it for you.
Put that nozzle down, mister.
It's got to happen all the time on the turnpike. You got people coming and going
that's
from
what it is.
out of state.
From everywhere. That's what they do. They come and yell at you. I've always figured that the state of New Jersey just made a reasonable, practical decision. They know their own people, and they're like, we can't trust our citizens to pump gas without blowing stuff up.
Out there smoking cigarettes.
Out of our minds? This is crazy.
Yeah.
All this Bruce Springsteen talk, why, you may be asking yourself. I'll tell you why. Here is your top 5 at 9. Number 5, Bruce Springsteen turned 75 years old today.
Yeah.
Which the more I think, I'm like, man, he's only 75. It feels like he's been, getting up there forever. I saw Springsteen twice in the summer of 2013, which means he was 64, and both times 3.5 hours, as per usual, just giving it 190% every time. He played last Sunday night in Asbury Park, New Jersey, a week ago.
Yeah.
70, 80,000 people on the beach watching the hometown hero. Got up there 3 hours, 20 minutes. You know, it's just what he does at this point. He looks great, still sounds great. Bruce, 75 years old. Happy birthday.
Yeah. All right, to the boss. Yeah. I was kind of hoping. I love getting out and seeing a Springsteen show. It's been a while. I mean, I really lumped them all together there in about 20 years. I saw him probably about 10 or 15 times. But I was kind of hoping he was slowing down and getting them down under a manageable 2 hours. Hour and a half would be a nice show.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, I save some of those good ones till the end. Jungle Land.
Yeah, number 4 on your top 5 at 9. Reports from Huntington Bank Stadium over the weekend were that a frazzled middle-aged man was seen wandering in circles waiting for an Uber. Oh, wait, no, sorry, that was you, Zepp. Did you ever get that Uber?
I did get my Uber, but yeah, because I didn't know that they were selling the beers again there at Huntington Bank Stadium. I'd heard. I had been a while since I've been to a game. Our neighbor right here at the Q. Been a while, and I thought they were not. And there seemed to be some... I don't know, disagreement or a mystery in our little group of tailgaters, so we decided to front load and get a full 4 quarters of buzz going.
Front load.
Yeah, we're pre-gaming pretty hard, and then we get in there and go, they're selling tall boys?
Nice.
And they were jinkling around by our feet when we left. I knew I was in trouble. But yeah, I did the ride share and thought I'd walk away from the traffic, and I did the old Hunter mistake. I just made a big circle right back to...
These things happen.
Yeah,
with your striped overalls, one shoulder dangling, of course.
Yeah.
Like the co-eds do. You just looked great.
Well, those kids out there. It was just a lot of fun. I love the energy of a college game. I should go more often. But golf, Coach Fleck, I mean, you need 2 halves out of that team. Great first half, and then Iowa just took the...
Yeah, third quarter, Iowa just turned up the heat. They're running back 206 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Bronze Pig Trophy goes back to Iowa.
Floyd of Rosedale.
The old Floyd of Rosedale. Poor little bastard. Has to go to Iowa for a few days. Number 3 on your top 5 at 9. If you have seen online these images that have gone viral of purple apples from Saskatchewan, people are going above and beyond trying to track down their own purple apples. They look delicious and they're purple, and there's not a whole lot of purple food out there, so you got to get it when you can, and it's an apple. And the only problem is it's not true. There's no such thing. Someone just cooked up an image of a purple apple, and one thing led to another. The funniest part to me is they said that they originate from Saskatchewan. These apples thrive in the chilly climate, boast a flavor profile reminiscent of cinnamon and banana, and they go by the nickname Canadian grapes. It also went on to say prized ingredients in the creation of purple applesauce created by indigenous Saskatchewan peoples. They embody the rich tapestry of Saskatchewan's cultural and culinary heritage. Have you ever been to Saskatchewan? There's no cultural heritage. There's no culinary heritage. Just bread and meat and cheese and a bunch of people looking at you going, well, you got to learn the wrist shot before the slap shot. I mean, it's Saskatchewan. There's nothing there, damn straight, sure enough, not a purple apple that plays a part of its cultural heritage.
You don't believe Steve? Believe Miss Saskatchewan 1972.
It would be so fun, but unfortunately, it is not real.
You can have purple leaves on the crab apples.
When there's an AI-generated photo that pops up online, we always get lots of inquiries.
Well, it'd be so much fun.
I went to a junior league hockey game in Saskatchewan once. 15-year-old boys out on the ice at a tiny little rink. Night off on tour. I'll go see a local hockey game. They were playing a team called Swift Current. Was the other town.
All right.
Swift Current came in, and the team from Saskatchewan or Saskatoon. Which one's the town? Which one's the province? I can't even remember. I've never experienced such anger and vitriol from a crowd at a sporting event, and it was like It was just mild-mannered looking middle-aged Canadians watching their 15-year-old sons play hockey. Yeah. It was like blood sport. The heckling and the cursing and the mocking of other 15-year-old kids. I'd never seen anything like it. I watched a woman jump up, run down, and put with both her hands slamming it on the glass because there had just been a little brawl. And she was screaming at a 15-year-old boy, hit him with your purse next time you just bleep, 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 bleep. I was in I could not believe my little dainty southern, I clutched my pearls. I was like, wait a minute, these are like teenage boys. But no, it's Canadian hockey and they deserve everything they get.
Yeah, no, that's how it goes up there.
Not something they take very lightly, that's for sure. Number 2 on your top 5 at 9. The Minnesota Department of Public Safety had a speed enforcement campaign over the summer, May 1st through September 2nd. So 4 months of let's give out a bunch of tickets and let's really make sure we're stopping the speeders from putting their lives and the lives of others at risk. Anyone want to guess how many tickets were written in Minnesota May 1st through September 22nd? I'll go ahead and pop the bubble for you. 69,723.
I mean, how much money is that? Do we all get a tax break here in 2025?
I mean, what's the average speeding ticket cost? I mean, if it's,
it used to be a lot. It's been a while since I've had one. I'm guessing it's pretty spendy.
Pushing $100, are you not?
I bet it's more than that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
at least.
I mean, let's just call it 70,000. I mean, 70,000 times 100, last I checked, is $7 million. That's some serious coin in the coffers.
Oh, Shakopee residents do not have to pay their property taxes next year. You get it? You get a free deal on that. If they just wait a month or two, we'll all have to quit speeding. We'll have ice and snow on the roads.
The Ramsey County did pretty well during that time in terms of high speeds because the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, their highest ticket was for only 110 miles per hour. So well done, Ramsey County. Whereas Rochester, 130. Woo! LeSueur, 130.
Well, that's nothing but room down there. And they just redid those roads down there. 169, you can fly.
The Minnesota State Patrol in the Twin Cities West Metro District clocked someone at 127. No confirmation that was or was not Jordan Addison yet again. Blasted through the Twin Cities on his way to a game. There were some serious blood alcohol content arrests as well. A lot of drunk drivers. Egan had the highest BAC with a .443 on a driver.
Yeah.
Hey, that's not cool at all.
Nope. And it'll cost you a lot more than $100.
Yeah, as well it should. Got to stop with the drunk driving, especially when there's rideshare services. God. Not to mention a bus, for God's sakes. It's not going to kill you to take a bus.
They're everywhere.
Stop driving when you're drinking. Number 1 on your top 5 at 9. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Is that the sound of undefeated I hear? Yes, it's 3-0, but it's a big 3-0. The Minnesota Vikings, they kicked the living snot out of the Houston Texans yesterday. It was the kind of game where midway through the second quarter, you would be forgiven if you just started flipping channels. I mean, It was kind of over. You could tell right away, they're not going to figure out. The Texans they're not figuring out our defense.
I was surprised still in the second half to find out that they were still guarding Justin Jefferson, not only man-to-man, but in zone, man-to-man, one man on Justin Jefferson.
That's silly.
And then you went zone against him? I mean, great to see Justin Jefferson being used more than just for acrobatic 30 to 50-yard catches down the field. They were using him on the sideline. I mean, that was his day yesterday. And, of course, the game ball winner was the one, chucking the ball to him.
17-28, 181, 4 touchdowns. It wasn't even close. Make no mistake about it. It was not close. Who led their team today and who made the plays he had to make? Leaning on him all year long, Sammy Darnold. I love playing with y'all, man. Hey, this is just the beginning. Just the beginning, man. Here we go. Vikes on 3. 1, 2, 3. Vikes!
Sam Darnold. I think we should start calling him Sammy Darn. Sammy Darnold, but Sammy Darn. That's a good. Oh, Sammy. Here's Sammy Darn. Face back. Look at Sammy Darn. Looks down the offense. I mean, that just sounds like a good old-fashioned name. Wasn't it Sammy Baugh? That's a name we know, but Sammy.
Slinging Sammy Baugh.
That's right.
Sammy Darn. And we used to call him Sammy Dam, but the children said they didn't like that tough language, so it wasn't Sammy Darn. Sammy Darn.
Yeah, while we're gloating here, one more piece of audio. So you've got Coach O'Connell here. Grenard had a huge day yesterday, and one of the Houston players, and there are 3 or 4 on the team now that came over from Houston. They're playing for the Vikes now, talking about that dang crowd out there at U.S. Bank.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think we got the best fans in the National Football League, not particularly close.
Man, the fans made the environment crazy. I knew they was going to be helpful for us. And without their help, man, who knows how this game would win, but I'm glad we got a dub.
At one point in time, I think it was about 121 decibels in here, multiple pre-snap penalties by this Texans offense.
Man, they're everything. I mean, it's like playing with a 12th guy on the field. They got to worry about the crowd, us, and then the scheme.
Yep.
Awesome. Sam Darnold, by the way, seems to, for now, he has found the place he needs to be. Great system, great coach. They understand his strengths. They're certainly aware of his weaknesses. Just for the record, let's just assume, what if this really turns into where he's finally at a place where he can live up to his potential? Sam Darnold, in case you're wondering, is younger than Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
He's 27 years old. Yep. He's 6 months younger than Joe Burrow, who everyone looks at as one of those young quarterbacks that's going to, what's he going to do? Sam Darnold's still young as well. I mean, I love to get ahead of myself. I love to just get swept away with hyperbole. The team looks pretty great right now. And the reason I think Sam Darnold's going to be in great shape because he does have that defense. They can rely on Flores' defense.
Yes.
That's the Niners and the Texans 2 in a row that neither game, the score yesterday wasn't close. The Niners game wasn't as close as the score. They kicked the snot out of 2 of the highest ranked teams in the league in two straight weeks. I'm just saying, it's a pretty exciting time.
What a showdown this Sunday it's going to be up there at Lambeau. It's Sunday, right? It's a Sunday game?
It's Sunday.
It's Sunday game up there in Lambeau. I don't know if Love's coming back. He's been practicing this past week. We'll see if he's back for the Vikings game. But that's also a pretty young, damn good defense and a team that's playing pretty well.
It's going to be exciting. Hey, Delano, good morning. Delano, Wisconsin. What's going on?
It's a little early for Delano. They're not up yet.
No one yet? Okay.
Oh, I'm teasing. They open up at 11 o'clock when the Legion over there opens, I think.
That's it. Just happy to have you with us, Delano.
Yeah.
There's your top 5 at 9. Here's one for you quickly. Every now and again, you hear these stories about somebody being reunited with a pet they had lost, and it's always nice. You think, oh, that's a good story. A California couple lost their beloved house cat. Benny and Suzanne are their names, and they had a cat named Rainbow, but it's spelled Rayneba because they're pretentious douchebags. Rainbow is their cat's name. They lost their cat. They lost their cat where? They didn't open the back door. They didn't leave the back door open and Rainbow went off on his own. No, they took him on a family trip to Yellowstone National Park, and that's where they lost the cat.
God. Why?
You take a cat. I tell you why. Because they were hoping to lose that cat.
Well, that's a good place to do it. You've got 6 wolf packs there last I checked. A grizzly bear just around every corner. You've got mountain lions, bobcats, lynx. What else am I missing?
A hot geyser.
A hot geyser, yeah. You're right. A lady just went off trail last week and stepped in one and scolded her legs all to hell.
They say they were walking in Yellowstone and Rainbow got startled and ran off into the trees. They spent the rest of their trip trying to find him. They were like, we eventually had to drive home without him. We were heartbroken. We felt like we were abandoning him.
You were?
Yeah, you were. 6 days later, they get a message saying somebody had found a cat, and he had a chip in him, so they were able to, the microchip and the location, they found his cat. He was, the cat was in Roseville, California, which is 800 miles from where they last saw him.
800 miles? I didn't know a cat could cover.
It was a couple months later. I'm sorry, it was 2 months later.
Yeah.
800 miles in 2 months. They have no idea if anybody picked the cat up and drove him there, or if the cat was just hoofing it, trying to figure out where to be next. But 800 miles later, they were reunited with Rainbow. And I guarantee you right now, the first thing they said when they were alone with that cat is, God, what is it going to take to get rid of you?
How far do you have to drive a cat to dump it? Dad used to just go over to the next county. Come to think of it, maybe he wasn't dropping them off.
Man.
No, we didn't do that. We loved our farm cats. They, cleaned up the mice and all those rats from the grain bins. But yeah, that's pretty remarkable that Rainbow got out of Yellowstone alive.
That's what I'm saying. There's no, I mean, what about the birds alone? Like how many birds of prey are looking around for God, I would kill for a nice house cat right now. Properly fed, no worms.
Vaccinated, so none of those weird diseases.
It's going to be great. It's a miracle that cat, I got to think somebody just grabbed him and drove him 800 miles.
Maybe, yeah. Otherwise, Rainbow's got some street cred.
Yeah, no kid.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.